Xianxia, if it weren't for that person's permission, I would have definitely killed you just now. If you had agreed to 2 conditions, not only would you not die, I can guarantee that you will not only live, you will also enjoy great fortune. You will also have an honorable position in the devil-subduing college, just like me. Dongfang Yao stood in front of Xianxia and looked down at him. 2 conditions, this is too much, right? Xianxia thought for a while and replied. He did not expect that it was not Dongfang Yao who arranged for him to be killed, but someone who had asked Dongfang Yao to come and have a secret discussion with him. You have no choice. The first condition is to sign a contract to be loyal to a person. The second condition is to have Lung Yulan marry me. Dongfang Yao's tone was filled with threat, causing Xianxia to be furious. He hated it when people around him threatened him the most. But he was sure that Lung Yulan and Xianxia were safe as long as they stayed in Icy Wind Valley or Divine Weapons Heavenly Country. Even if Devil Subduing College wanted to provoke Lu Meng'er, he would need to consider carefully, since even if they were not destroyed, it was certain that they would suffer heavy losses. To whom? I don't want to lower my head to someone I don't understand. I think you understand my situation, so you should know how difficult it is for me to lower my head. Xianxia deliberately caused his face to turn pale, as if he was really holding on to something. In the end, Dongfang Yao still underestimated Xianxia, because he felt that it would be difficult for him to defeat the 8-armed gold ape, and Xianxia, who was weaker than him, was even more difficult. So when he saw the 8-armed gold ape's corpse lying there, he was extremely shocked. He never thought that Xianxia would actually kill the 8-armed gold ape. Of course, he did not know about the existence of 5 8-armed gold ape, nor did he know about the matter regarding the diamond fruit tree. Dongfang Yao's expression suddenly changed and said with a serious face, "The person you want to be loyal to will become someone that can shake the entire 3 realms in the future. I think you should know about the matter of the devil-suppressing divine palace, right? That person is the creator of the devil-suppressing divine palace, the person that the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable is waiting for. We call him God's son. Now that he is in charge of the entire devil-subduing college, all the old fellows of the nirvana stage will be respectful to him. According to the internal rules of devil-subduing college, you probably won't be able to see the sun for a long time, but the Son of God appreciates you, and he wants to use you highly. This is a blessing that you will never be able to get in your entire life. In other words, the condition of letting Yulan marry you was your idea." Xianxia sneered. "Xianxia, I'm not afraid to tell you that your recognized sister possesses the dragon's bloodline's inheritance, which is extremely rare among humans. However, she needs the awakening of her bloodline to obtain the strongest power, which is what the godchild told me. If you want her to become strong, marry her to me." Dongfang Yao's eyes were filled with excitement, because he thought that Xianxia would agree to it very soon. "Does he want to kill me?" Xianxia asked coldly. "Humph, you are just an ant in his eyes. Not only you, the godchild has a lot of resources. No matter how many fortuitous encounters you get, you will only be like an egg striking a stone." Dongfang Yao laughed in disdain. "So what? I don't want to be controlled all my life, and I don't want to live like a dog. The godchild that you speak of is so strong. I don't want to be killed by him for doing something wrong." Xianxia mocked. "Xianxia, this is for your own good." Not only was Dongfang Yao not angry, he said lightly, "If you are not willing, your wife and recognized sister will be in trouble. Do you believe that when they return to the academy, I will immediately act ha ha ha? Do you believe that I will kill you right now?" Xianxia said angrily. He knew that this wasn't just a threat from Dongfang Yao, it was also a threat from the godchild. Dongfang Yao's eyes flashed with a ruthless light. "Xianxia, who do you think you are? I admit that it was outside of my expectations that you could kill this 8-armed gold ape, but compared to me, you are still far behind in terms of strength. At most, you are just at the peak of the soul martial realm, and I am at the peak of the 100 refining realm. Even if you can reach the 10th level of the devil subduing method, I will still crush you to death with one hand." Xianxia was thoroughly angered by Dongfang Yao, but he was very calm now. "Bullshit, godson, the more you threaten me, the more I look down on him. Don't think that this is the heaven realm, the more powerful he is. Don't think that this is the mortal realm. I want to see if he will make a move on the people around me, or be destroyed by me first. Ha ha." You talk big, but now you know too much. If you don't follow the god's son, I have no choice but to kill you." After Dongfang Yao finished speaking, he raised his head and started laughing. His laughter was extremely sinister. It seemed like he wanted to kill Chen Xiang no matter what. Just then, Chen Xiang suddenly moved. At the same time, he was also slowly adapting and absorbing the power of giving as he operated the powerful genuine qi of universe. When Dongfang Yao was feeling most proud, he sat on the ground with his legs crossed, looking like a poisonous snake that was about to bite its prey. His hand was like a dragon's claw, and with the speed of a lightning bolt, he clawed at Dongfang Yao's rumbling dragon. The berserk and strong dragon power crazily surged, causing his claws to become even more like dragon's claws, and his power to increase. The complacent Dongfang Yao was not on guard at all, but when he felt the terrifying dragon power that Chen Xiang had released, it was already too late. Chen Xiang pierced his dantian with one hand and used the other to grab onto his neck. You, Aya! Dongfang Yao's eyes almost squeezed out of Dongfang Yao's throat after getting grabbed so hard by him, and his face was full of pain, fear, anger, and despair. He did not expect that not only was Chen Xiang not injured, his strength was even stronger than before. In merely an instant, his dantian was destroyed. "I heard that your father is an emperor who rules over the entire world and your grandfather is an immortal. How incomparably glorious was that!" "Ha ha!" Chen Xiang laughed, causing his face to turn ashen. "Chen Xiang, you are despicable." "Ha ha, you actually know the word despicable. Don't worry, sooner or later I'll send your master to accompany you. Some bullshit God's inheritance. I don't believe that this kind of damn thing. The real God relied on himself to walk step by step. You're really an idiot. It's not good to grow up properly under the protection of father. You really have to listen to the God's words. From the looks of you, I already know what kind of guy he is. Probably he's the same kind of guy as you guys. You don't know the thickness of heaven and earth. You think too much. Go to hell with yourself." With a palm, Chen Xiang smashed Dongfang Yao's head, and with extremely strong mental power, he wiped off Dongfang Yao's soul. After Chen Xiang put away the 8-armed gold ape's corpse, he set fire to it and quickly ran towards a mountain range in the distance, continuing to absorb the power of giving. He wasn't afraid of that godchild at all. After all, that was not a real godchild. If that godchild was truly powerful, there was no need for any devil-suppressing blood. It was said that only those who can learn the devil-suppressing kung fu have the qualifications to rule over the devil-suppressing divine palace. I think the current palace master of the devil-suppressing divine palace has never learned the devil-suppressing kung fu at all. Su Meiyao said in disdain. If I'm not mistaken, the so-called demon-suppressing divine veins is inside the sacred Dan realm. The fire divine palace has received the news, so they have to find a way to enter the sacred Dan realm as well. The devil-subduing college and the fire divine palace are probably waiting for the first profound realm to open again. Bai Yuyu laughed sinisterly. "If there is a chance, I must devour that god-child." After devouring the god-children, Chen Xiang's heart started beating even faster. That was a good thing. Just thinking about it made him excited. 10 days had passed before Chen Xiang finally absorbed all of the power of giving, and the thickness of his innate qi had more than doubled. There were 80,000 of them. However, the 5 beast statues were still dim, and had only lit up a little bit in a small area. With my current physical body and true energy, fighting against the 100 refining realm shouldn't be too difficult. Chen Xiang suddenly roared, his qi spreading far and wide, resounding through the countless mountains, breaking through the clouds. True energy gushed out from his body, forming a violent gale that turned into a tornado. The surrounding trees were instantly uprooted from the ground and blown over a large area. "Hurry up and find the diamond fruit tree," Su Meiyao urged. She was really looking forward to getting this diamond fruit. If Chen Xiang could really get it, then she would be able to get more resources from Heaven Realm. If she went to Sacred Dan Realm, maybe she could even make a good living there. Chen Xiang had scouted the location of the diamond fruit tree in the mind of the 8-armed ape king earlier and found that it was not too far away from here. However, the place where it was hidden was extremely secretive, as it was actually located in a crevice in the middle of a huge mountain. He was currently standing on top of that huge mountain, and that crevice was only enough for 2 people to go down. It was so deep that the bottom of the mountain could not be seen, and it was pitch black. Xianxia could not sense what kind of diamond fruit tree was down there either, but it was usually very hard to sense anything unless it was the outcome. How do we get down the 8-armed gold ape? Xianxia was extremely confused. From the 8-armed ape king's memories, it could not find the appearance of the diamond fruit tree. There really is a tree down there. Looks like it's the diamond fruit tree. Hurry up and go down. There isn't anything powerful. Long Shui urged. Not long later, he went down to the bottom and saw a tree that was 4 to 5 meters tall with a very small treetop. The tree was covered in sparkling and translucent energy, and Xianxia could clearly see that the tree did not directly absorb the spirit qi in the air, but rather directly drew it out from the ground at a very fast speed. It really is a diamond fruit tree. If we want to find this kind of tree, we have to find it through the flow of spirit energy in the soil. Su Meiyao came out from the storage ring and stood under the tree. She caressed it with her jade hands as her eyes shone with surprise and joy. The danger in this area was unpredictable. When Su Meiyao came out, he jumped in fright and immediately ran to Su Meiyao's side to protect her. The root of this diamond fruit tree is very deep, at least 30 meters deep. You just have to be careful and dig carefully so that it does not break the main root. Otherwise, it will be extremely difficult to grow it. Su Meiyao exhorted a few things before hastily entering the storage ring. Although it was troublesome, it was a tree that could produce heaven-level fruits, so Xianxia did not feel that it was troublesome at all. He dug excitedly and was extremely careful because of these heaven-level herbs. As long as he could get one, he could get tens of thousands of them. After busying himself for a long time, Xianxia finally reached the bottom of the tree and dug it up along with its roots. He placed it into his storage ring, letting Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu grow it. Dongfang Yao, this guy is too shabby. He doesn't even have anything that can catch my eyes. Yet he's still saying that he wants to marry Yulan. Xianxia looked through Dongfang Yao's storage ring. Inside it were a few spar, as well as a few pills. He did not really care about any of these things. What can I do? I cultivate in the devil-subduing college all day and I don't go out much, so I'm not in the Alchemist either. Do you think everyone is like you? Su Meiyao laughed. If one were to compare their wealth with Xianxia's, forget about these young people from the extreme realm, even some old fellows who had stepped into the nirvana stage would feel inferior in comparison. If we were to fight face-to-face with him, it would definitely not be easy to deal with. However, this guy is too arrogant. Xianxia crushed the storage ring and burned it to ashes. He stepped on the thunder-like parts of the ring and rampaged through the forest, his body spewing out a strong force that was as sharp as a shovel. Everything that obstructed him would be sliced apart. He had originally planned to ruthlessly trample Dongfang Yao a few times during the demon-subduing competition, but he didn't expect that he would die so miserably at his hands. Even he felt that Dongfang Yao wasn't worth it. After all, he was a young warrior of noble birth with extraordinary talent. In a hall in devil-subduing college, Xianxia threw the 8-armed gold ape on the ground. A few elders inside could not help but be moved when they saw the 8-armed gold ape's corpse. Although Xianxia had been there for a while, it was still considered good to be able to complete the mission. Just that, what they were worried about was Dongfang Yao. There were a few old things that had gone to Dongfang Yao to look for him, but now that he was able to return, Dongfang Yao did not. Where's the beast core? An elder asked. I dug it out. The mission said that it was to kill the 8-armed gold ape, but it didn't say that the beast core had to be handed over. Xianxia said. If it was not to prove that he had killed the 8-armed gold ape, he would not even have brought it back. A few of the elders looked as if they wanted to say something, but could not do so. They really wanted to ask Xianxia if he had met that Dongfang Yao. Can I enter the Compendium Pavilion now? Xianxia asked. The level that stores the most powerful demonic techniques. Manfutian nodded his head. Of course, you have already learned the devil-subduing method, so the other ordinary demon fighting techniques are unable to satisfy you. But you have to know you cannot stay in that level for too long, only 3 days. After 3 days, you have to come out, and if you want to learn anything else in the future, you have to continue completing the mission. How could 3 days be enough? A powerful martial arts technique usually required a month or two to memorize. Some would even require a longer period of time. All right, I'll take you there now. Xianxia had long thought that it would not be so easy for the devil-subduing college to spread the news of his powerful demon-subduing fist. Manfutian brought Xianxia to a tall building and slowly walked up the stairs. Xianxia, that 8-armed gold ape, was not easy to deal with, right? Why did you take such a long time? Manfutian asked. He wanted to find something out from Xianxia's answer, that Dongfang Yao was a good seedling and had gone for so long without returning. Yet, Xianxia had returned. I attacked him 8 times in total. The first 7 were all injured, but the last time, I found a chance and succeeded in ambushing him. I killed him in 1 move, which was why I took so long. When Xianxia said this, it was as if he said it, which made it hard for people to tell if he was speaking the truth or not. A few clan elders of the devil-subduing college had already sent people out to look for Dongfang Yao. But Xianxia was not worried. As long as there was no proof that he was the one who killed the man, he was not afraid. After arriving at the top, Manfutian opened an array formation and sent Xianxia into the bright and spacious huge hall. Xianxia could feel that he was in a space that could read, and he was not connected to the outside world at all. The 4 walls of the hall were all covered with bookshelves, and on top of them was a thick book. In the middle, there were many tables and chairs, and more than 20 people were currently focused on reading a few thick books, carefully memorizing the contents. It was very quiet inside. Everyone was immersed in reciting the martial arts manuals. Only the rustling sounds of books being opened could be heard. Xianxia saw a white-haired old man walking towards him. I am the manager of this place, Wang Yuan. It seems that this is the first time you have come here. Is there anything you would like to ask? The old man asked with a smile. Xianxia looked at the countless thick books on the shelves and was truly confused. There are actually so many high-level demon fighting techniques here. Do you have a catalog or an introduction? Let me see the introduction to each of them. Wang Yuan laughed. Although the books here seem to be many, there are only 3 of them in total. It's just that each have 10 sets. That's why there are so many of them. The corner of Xianxia's mouth twitched. That was all of the 3 anti-demon martial arts. It was too scary. He felt that all of them were divine martial arts. Only this kind of powerful and evolved martial arts could have so much information. It's because devil-subduing method is too little that it's very difficult to learn. In order to make it easier for the later generations to learn these anti-demon martial arts, some old seniors added a lot of ways to learn them, and there are also many different ways to learn them. This takes into account the various special circumstances of the person, but there aren't many main martial arts techniques. There's only one manual. Wang Yuan explained. Xianxia heaved a sigh of relief. He had learnt the devil-suppressing kung fu before. At that time he would have learnt it to his heart's content. Let's not talk about you. Take the dean for example. He can only rely on his mental cultivation method to master these 3 fierce demon martial arts. Otherwise, those seniors would have needed to add in their comments. They wouldn't have needed to go through so many different cultivation methods. When he first came here, many students were like Xianxia, thinking that he could learn it just by looking at his mental cultivation method. However, in the end, he still had to obediently go through countless books on cultivation experience. Xianxia nodded his head. I know about that, but I feel that it would be more efficient to familiarize myself with the martial arts cultivation method first, and then look at the cultivation experience left behind by the predecessors. Wang Yuan gave Xianxia a piece of paper and said, This is a brief introduction of one of the martial arts. The first martial art he saw was called the devil-suppressing chi array. According to the contents of the description, it was related to formations, and was designed to teach people how to set up arrays and use Jin Qi to quickly condense Qi to attack or defend. I never thought that there would be such a thing as a combination of formations and martial arts. Xianxia started to look forward to it. He himself had some understanding of array formations, and after absorbing the memories of the 4 array masters, he had quite a solid foundation. There are 2 other demonic arts. Xianxia asked again. This devil-suppressing chi array is the easiest to learn, but if you want to learn it, that will take a long time. Wang Yuan was helpless and could only give Xianxia 2 pieces of paper. Looking at the other two skills, Xianxia felt a little depressed because he could use one of them, which was called devil-suppressing qi. If not, the effect would be not that big. The devil-subduing method was to strengthen the devil-suppressing qi, and the devil-suppressing qi was to have a strong killing ability against demons. If the three types of martial arts were combined, they would be the nemesis of the demons. I am familiar with the devil-suppressing qi array. May I know where it is? Xianxia returned the 3 pieces of paper back to Wang Yuan. Wang Yuan quickly took out a thick book and handed it over to Xianxia, saying, "Don't waste your time. This time you've only come for 3 days." After Xianxia received the book, he casually found a seat and sat down, then began to quickly flip through the pages. With his current mental state, he could basically record an entire page's worth of content with a single glance. This was also the case for Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu. Not only did Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu remember this in their minds, they also quickly copied it down, because Xianxia wanted to pass on his anti-demon martial arts to Xianxia and the others. Elder Sister Menger should be very interested in this devil-suppressing qi array. Xianxia quickly saw that many array formations were formed by a few profound spirit grain, which also caused him to have to spend a lot of time memorizing them. It took him a whole day and a half to familiarize himself with the devil-suppressing qi array. He had a rough understanding of the martial arts of an anxious array, and the first thing he knew was that it was not very hard to learn. This was because he had the foundation of arrays, and there were many mantras and chants in it, so he could understand them easily. Next, he borrowed Devil-Suppressing Fist from Wang Yuan. This book was relatively thin, and the main things that were written on it were some punching poses, sets, methods of luck, and some profound mental cultivation methods. He only needed half a day to memorize them all. After all, there were not as many arrays as the previous book, but the difficulty of the Devil-Suppressing Fist was much greater than the Devil-Suppressing Qi array. He still had time, so he pretended to memorize the Devil-Suppressing Qi and let Su Meiyao and Bai Yuyu copy it in the storage ring, because Xianxia and the others did not understand the Devil-Suppressing Qi. The Devil-Suppressing Qi was only a part of the Devil-Suppressing Kung Fu, so it naturally did not contain as much information as the Devil-Suppressing Kung Fu, but there was still a lot of it. After 3 days, Xianxia was sent out of the room. Although he had not seen the cultivation experience and methods written by the old seniors of the Devil-Suppressing Divine Palace, he was confident that he could teach himself, because when he memorized, he already roughly understood the difficulty of the martial arts. Just as Xianxia walked out of the building and was about to return to his residence to cultivate, he was suddenly called out to by Manfutian. "Xianxia, the people from the Dan Fragrance Pure Land came to find you. There seems to be something very important. It's just that that person is not willing to tell me." Before this, he had already known that Xianxia was the Dan Fragrance Pure Land's honorary alchemist. His alchemy skills were top-notch, and was deeply favored by the Dan Fragrance Pure Land. In the entire mortal Wu realm, Dan Fragrance Pure Land was an extremely famous existence, because there were very few sects that were based on medicines. Moreover, Leader was one of the top alchemists, so many famous Nirvana Stage S would respect this kind of alchemist. "Who is it?" Xianxia asked as he followed Manfutian. "He said that he is the great clan elder of the Dan Fragrance Pure Land." Manfutian did not dare to look down on Xianxia anymore. For a great clan elder to come personally to look for him, it could be seen that Xianxia's status in the Dan Fragrance Pure Land was not low. Very quickly, Xianxia saw the great clan elder. He was a tall and sturdy old man dressed in a black robe, with thick white eyebrows and flowing white hair. "Xianxia, I am the great clan elder of the Dan Fragrance Pure Land, Yun Yen." The old man's voice was old and vigorous, full of power. "Yes, I have heard from Leader Hua about Senior's deeds. May I ask Senior if there is anything I can help you with?" Xianxia bowed and said. Although Yun Yen looked old, he was actually younger than Gu Dongchen. Furthermore, he had also transcended the 8 tribulations, and was a terrifying rancor hiding in the Dan Fragrance Pure Land. Many people only thought that the strongest person in the Dan Fragrance Pure Land was Hua Xiangyue, but that was not the case. Even Manfutian, who came down from the heaven realm, had to be wary of Yun Yen, because the aura from this sturdy old man made him feel pressured. "Someone has come to the Dan Fragrance Pure Land to stir trouble. This is a little brat. He said that he is from the sacred Dan realm, and he has already consecutively defeated 10 of our Dan Fragrance Pure Land's young alchemists. Xianxia's heart trembled. Man Futian was also extremely surprised. To think that someone from the sacred Dan realm would come to the mortal Wu realm, it was a very rare occurrence. You are the Dan Fragrance Pure Land's honorary alchemist. Your duty is to protect the honor of the Dan Fragrance Pure Land. The leader asked me to come find you. When Yun Yen mentioned this matter, his face was actually filled with rage. This kid from the sacred Dan realm is very arrogant, and his pill refining skills are great as well. Furthermore, as long as he wins against others, he will cripple them. What a ruthless fellow. I'm going to meet him. Did he come alone? Xianxia frowned and asked. No, there's a very strong person by his side. Xianxia followed Yun Yen and left the devil-subduing college. When he found out that someone was coming to the mortal realm, he had to notify the Holy Sun immediately. When Xianxia followed Yun Yen, and they arrived at the competition grounds, he heard a blood-curdling scream. Yun Yen immediately flew into the crowd. Xianxia followed closely behind. All he saw was that Yun Yen was holding onto a dying man who was vomiting blood. Seeing this, Xianxia anxiously took out 2 boxes of white jade powder, shook 2 jade boxes, and let the medicine inside be scattered all over the air. Then, with a wave of his sleeve, he released a scorching hot mysterious energy that wrapped around the 2 boxes of and then condensed the medicine powder together. Let him eat it. Xianxia gave Yun Yen a pill that was emitting a white light, and the medicine fragrance that was pervading in the air made everyone feel refreshed. At this time, Xianxia noticed that not far away, there was a handsome man wearing luxurious clothing with sharp eyebrows and starry eyes. He was looking at Xianxia with a strange gaze. You are Xianxia. The man stared at Xianxia as if he was looking for prey, afraid that Xianxia would run away. Beside the man, there was an expressionless middle-aged man who was emitting an oppressive aura. He was actually a warrior from Nirvana stage. That's right. Who are you? Xianxia's face was filled with anger. My name is Fan Yakin, and I came from Sacred Dan Realm. Coincidentally, I came to this mortal Wu realm and found this place that is based on pills and challenged a dozen or so guys. However, they are too lacking. The man smiled faintly. Don't be angry. If I lose the pill refinement, I will also be crippled by them. This was agreed upon when we competed. This is too much of a grudge, but if I were to compete with you, then it would be of no value. When Fan Yakin revealed that move just now, he knew that Xianxia was not simple. He believed that people of that level were rare even in the Sacred Dan realm. Fan Yakin was from Sacred Dan realm, so Xianxia naturally wanted to compete with this alchemist from the mysterious world. If he won, he might even be able to obtain some benefits. 3 days later, if you're interested, come here and have a duel. I'm not in my best condition today, so I'll skip it today. Fan Yakin was obviously very careful. He did not look down on Xianxia at all. He did not care whether Xianxia agreed or not, and then turned and left. The fellow from the Sacred Dan realm is different. He could tell that you possess a decent fire soul with a single glance, and your pill refining skills are different from the others. That's why he chose to be cautious. I can guarantee that during these 3 days, he will definitely use it to adjust his condition, and as expected, Sacred Dan realm is indeed a world that is very focused on pills. This person might just be a bit arrogant, but he's still a good person, so if you can befriend him, then you might be able to do a lot of things to the Sacred Dan realm. All right, Su Meiyao said. We'll talk about it in 3 days. Xianxia followed Yun Yen to the Dan Fragrance Pure Land. Once inside, he was called into the forbidden grounds by Hua Xiangyue. Upon entering, he saw Lu Menger and Hua Xiangyue reading a book, which was the devil-subduing method. They were learning this powerful martial art, because it would make it much easier for them to deal with the demon. Seeing Xianxia coming over, Hua Xiangyue, who was wearing a purple cheongsam, quickly flew up and respectfully saluted in front of Xianxia. Master, this servant pays her respects to you? With that, she giggled, causing Xianxia to smack her head. How could a servant dare to laugh so heartlessly in front of Master? Hua Xiangyue looked noble and charming, and didn't look like a maid at all. However, She had indeed signed the agreement with Xianxia on a master-servant contract, and if Xianxia died, she would also die with him. Lu Meng'er scoffed. Stop messing around. The guy from Sacred Dan Realm is not simple. I don't know what his goal is, but have you seen him before? Yes, I've seen him. He's not simple at all. He arranged for me to compete in pill refining 3 days later. Xianxia said as he walked to Lu Meng'er's side and hugged her from behind, and kissed her on her cheek. With Hua Xiangyue watching them from the sidelines, Lu Meng'er felt embarrassed and struggled out of Xianxia's embrace with a red face. If it wasn't for me wanting to give the old master a chance to shine, I would have definitely gone out and secretly instructed that lad to scram while my pill-forging skills are still intact. Hua Xiangyue pulled Xianxia's arm, and blinked a pair of enchanting eyes, and stared at Xianxia. Xianxia looked at Hua Xiangyue, and jokingly scolded, "You actually seduced me in front of your madam. You are too presumptuous." As he said that, he pinched Hua Xiangyue's full bouncy butt, causing Hua Xiangyue to let out a soft moan. Lu Meng'er snorted lightly, then asked seriously, "Little scoundrel, why didn't you let Xianxian and Yulan stay in devil-subduing college?" Xianxia had already asked Long Shui to send a message to Gu Dongqin, asking him to think of a way to tell her to stop the 2 girls from returning to devil-subduing college once again. It's not safe in the devil-subduing college for them. I'll tell you all the details again in the future. It's very complicated. Xianxia's face became extremely serious. He didn't want to worry Lu Meng'er right now, so he didn't tell them the details. Even so, Lu Meng'er and Hua Xiangyue were still worried. "Don't worry about me. Don't you know what I'm capable of?" Xianxia laughed and took out a box. He tossed it over to Lu Meng'er, and this was the box he got from Zheng Chu. Xianxia didn't have the ability to undo the array now, so he didn't care about messing around, as he was afraid that the box would be destroyed. Lu Meng'er took the box and looked at it. Her expression changed slightly, and then looked at the box very seriously. Hua Xiangyue wrinkled her nose. It was obvious that she smelt a very faint fragrance of medicinal pills. Based on her understanding of medicinal pills, she could immediately tell that there was a heaven-level pill inside the box. She tugged on Xianxia's finger and asked softly, "Where did you get this box?" "Not telling." Xianxia laughed mischievously. He could not help but reach out and caress Hua Xiangyue's enchanting face. "Humph, I think you stole it. In the mortal Wu realm, there aren't many people who can refine heaven-level pills." Hua Xiangyue pouted and said. Lu Meng'er said, "The formations above are things that I have never seen before. They should come from other worlds, but it's not difficult for me to break them. These formations seem to be strict, but to me, they are nothing." As she said that, a holy white light suddenly appeared on her hands. She snorted, and then a gust of wind blew out from the jade box, accompanied by a burst of energy. Obviously, the array formations were broken by Lu Meng'er just now. Xianxia was suddenly extremely excited. She walked over, kissed Lu Meng'er on the cheek, and then opened the box. When the box was opened, a burst of golden white light suddenly burst out, causing Xianxia and the 2 girls to be dumbstruck. In their shock, the 3 of them focused their attention on the 5 pills in the box. These 5 pills emitted a strong golden white light as they closed the door. The golden white light intertwined, as dazzling as the sun. Xianxia closed the lid and took a few deep breaths before calming down. "What pill is this?" Xianxia looked at the shocked Hua Xiangyue and asked. "Eternal Dan. Middle heaven level, high quality." Hua Xiangyue immediately replied with a face full of shock. "Eternal Dan's medicine can only be found on top of Heaven Realm S, because one of the herbs cannot grow in Mortal Realm. Where the hell did you get this box from?" "I killed a guy who came down from the Heaven Realm. I plundered it from him," Xianxia said casually. His face was full of excitement. This was a middle-grade heaven-level pill, a priceless treasure. Su Meiyao said, "It is indeed a Eternal Dan. This is a type of pellet that has healing and recovery of true qi at the same time, especially during tribulation time. If you are heavily injured, eating this Eternal Dan, the true qi in your body will become endless, and it will be hard to exhaust all of it, and your injured body will be able to recover in a short period of time. If you are injured again, your body will continue to recover, and continue to recover until the medicinal power ends. Even in the heaven realm, this type of pill is extremely expensive. One pellet is hard to find, but I never thought that Zhang Chu would actually have 5 in one go. Hua Xiangyue and Lu Menger were both preparing to go through tribulation, so Chun Xiang didn't wish for these two charming beauties to die from the loss of their nirvana doom. Thus, he very generously gave each of them 1 pellet. "We will try our best not to use it. This is an extremely rare pill," said. She and Hua Xiangyue still had a lot of manifestation pills and Relive Dan's medicinal ingredients. Although those were also very precious, they were not even close to this eternal Dan. "I really didn't recognize the wrong master. This is the first time I've seen this eternal Dan in my life." Hua Xiangyue smiled sweetly as she looked at Chun Xiang with her charming eyes. Then, she giggled. "Do you want me to leave and let Madam and Master have a good time?" "No need." Lu Menger blushed and said quickly. Chun Xiang was a little disappointed, but he still smiled mischievously and took out 3 thick books, placing it on the table. "These are the most powerful demon fighting techniques, but they are quite profound. You guys should slowly learn them. Devil-suppressing Qi Array." Lu Menger was immediately captivated by this martial art and quickly flipped through it. After that, she fell deeply into it, especially when she looked at the arrays. Chun Xiang felt that even if he took off her clothes now, she would probably ignore him. "Little flower demon, arrange a place for me. I want to adjust my state of mind well as well. After 3 days, beat up that fellow from Sacred Dan Realm until everything is gone." Chun Xiang laughed. It was an ambiguous laugh. Hua Xiangyue scoffed, held Chun Xiang's arm, and shuttled back and forth inside the cave, finally arriving at a very elegant stone room. This was Hua Xiangyue's room, and Chun Xiang could even smell the scent of her and Lu Menger's bodies inside, which Lu Menger also lived in with her. Hua Xiangyue brought Chun Xiang here, and just as she was about to leave, Chun Xiang held her in his arms, and without saying a word, he directly moved his lips over to her and forcefully kissed Hua Xiangyue. "Little scoundrel! Ugh!" Hua Xiangyue struggled to scold her a few times, but only let Chun Xiang's tongue get into her mouth. As matters stood, she did not resist, as she knew very well that Chun Xiang had treated her well. Giving this little scoundrel a taste was something unimportant, not to mention that she was Chun Xiang's servant. Hua Xiangyue was a little unfamiliar with kissing, but under Chun Xiang's guidance, she quickly became proficient. The sweet tongue crazily entangled with Chun Xiang's body, sucking on it. A strange and comfortable feeling flowed through her body, causing her to feel an indescribably wonderful and comfortable feeling, which made her unable to stop herself from hugging onto Chun Xiang's tiger body. Unknowingly, Chun Xiang rolled the spirit Hua Xiangyue onto the bed and passionately kissed. Both of their clothes were in complete disorder, and Hua Xiangyue had even revealed her beautiful shoulders and her exquisite collarbone. Just as Chun Xiang was about to tear off the cloth covering Hua Xiangyue's chest, Hua Xiangyue's lily-white hands grabbed onto him. Her lips parted, and she looked at him with a misty and coquettish gaze, as she spoke faintly. "Little scoundrel, your elder sister Menger is still outside. I don't want to be seen by her later." Chun Xiang shook her head and sighed. Looking at Hua Xiangyue's half-revealed snow-white breasts, he couldn't help but reach out and pinch them fiercely. "Little demoness, don't seduce me in the future." Hua Xiangyue suddenly flipped over and pressed Chun Xiang down below her. She then spoke out with an enchanting voice. "It's not certain who will eat whom. Just you wait. You little scoundrel will sooner or later be mine." Seeing that Hua Xiangyue's smile was so flirtatious and so captivating, Chun Xiang couldn't help but cover her mouth with his and hug her tightly before putting on an intense kiss. Outside, Lu Menger really did not know that the two of them were intimate inside. When she saw the array formation and spirit grain-based attack method inside the devil-suppressing Qi array, she was extremely shocked, praising the strength of the evil-killing technique. But she also knew that it was only because of the devil-subduing method and the devil-suppressing Qi that they could fully utilize it, which was why the evil demon had such a strong killing ability. "If you have the chance to come again, I do not want to be caught and destroyed by your elder sister Menger." Hua Xiangyue tidied up her clothes. In the short period of time she had been intimate with Chun Xiang, she had been the happiest of all these years. Chun Xiang laid on the bed, watching Hua Xiangyue twist the butt that he had needed a long time ago, feeling extremely satisfied in his heart. He let out a long breath. "Little scoundrel, aren't you afraid that I'll catch you in your bed?" Su Meiyao said. Before this, she also knew what kind of breed Xianxia was, but she didn't really care. She knew that for strong men, sooner or later, they would have a lot of women by their side, unless they cultivated the ruthless magic like her master and cut off all emotions and desires. But in the end, they would all become heartless demons. "Sister Mei Yao, do you want me to release you and compensate you?" Chen Xiang laughed. "No, I don't want to get in touch with them yet." Su Meiyao snorted. "There are still 3 days. You had better get used to refining the middle-grade profound-level pills. That is the highest possible Earth-grade pills you can refine now." Chen Xiang was a little depressed now. Since he was able to refine a middle profound-level pill, there were 2 types of pills that were shameful, and the God Eclipse powder and Heavenly Thunder pill both had the surname of attack. He did not want others to know, especially that God Eclipse powder, which was prohibited from being refined in the heaven realm. When the time comes, he could only refine Chunyuan Gold Dan S, but in the pill refining competition, it would not be a competition for the highest grade of pills, and refining low-grade pills would also be easy. Now, he did not know the rules of the competition, but what he needed to do now was to stay in a good state, and at that time he would be able to adapt to the situation. Chen Xiang had only casually refined a few batches of pills, to ensure that the pill he was the most adept at wouldn't be borne by hand. After that, he laid down on the soft bed with the scent and started to assemble the mantra of the 11th level of the devil subduing method. This required him to search for the mantra of the 10th level of the devil subduing method, and he also needed to arrange many small pieces of mantra from the beginning to the 10th level. "I'm already halfway done. If I find something wrong at the end, then all my work will be in vain," Chen Xiang muttered. He jumped up from his clothes and walked out of the stone room. In the hall, Hua Xiangyue and Lu Menger was discussing about devil-subduing method S. When they saw that Chen Xiang had come out with a naughty smile on his face, the 2 girls couldn't help but start chatting. "Hee, what level have you learned?" Chen Xiang asked. "The 4th level." Lu Menger sighed. She felt that the devil-subduing method was a little difficult to learn. "Not bad. There are many old fellows in devil-subduing college who have taken a long time." Chen Xiang laughed. "Xianxia and Yulan have already learned the 10th floor, and they have used up a lot of their time, but they were only learning it in the stellar transposition realm." Lu Menger and Hua Xiangyue knew about this matter as well. With Chen Xiang's permission, Lu Menger would also teach the Fire God method and the Taiji Divine Arts to Hua Xiangyue. If the 2 of them were to learn at the same time, they could discuss and save a lot of time on things that were difficult for them. "I feel that you 2 can learn the devil-subduing method together. The devil-suppressing Kung Fu and the devil-subduing method are the foundation. After learning these 2 anti-demon martial arts, it will be much easier to learn the devil-suppressing Chi Array and the devil-suppressing Fist," Chen Xiang said. "Those books I saw in the Devil-Subduing College's secret book collection pavilion. There were at least 100,000 of them, so these cannot be learned in a short period of time. Also, unless you have no other choice, do not use it in front of the people from the Devil-Subduing College." Hua Xiangyue and Lu Menger both nodded their heads. "When we learn the devil-subduing method S to the 10th floor, we can then go find Yulan and Xianxian so that they can learn some of these anti-demon martial arts. When the great war between 3 realms erupts, we'll definitely be able to use them," Lu Menger said. Previously, Chen Xiang had passed down the devil-subduing method to Huang Jintian. He knew that once Huang Jintian learnt it, he would definitely pass it down to Gu Dongqin and the others. This devil-subduing method had long since been spread out from the devil-subduing college, but without the guidance of the old guys in the devil-subduing college, it was extremely difficult to cultivate, so this was the reason why the devil-subduing college was not afraid of being leaked. However, at the moment he was not feeling nervous at all. Furthermore, he was guiding Lu Menger and Hua Xiangyue in their cultivation of the devil-subduing method. His understanding of the basics of the devil-suppressing Kung Fu was even deeper than other people. Lu Menger and Hua Xiangyue, the 2 ladies who were famous in the mortal martial realm, had a whole new level of respect for Chen Xiang. They did not expect that the difficult problem that had been bothering them for a long time would be solved with just a few pointers from Chen Xiang. At dawn, Chen Xiang yawned. "Right now, you guys can easily learn the 6th level. When I return from my match with that guy, I'll continue to teach you guys. The two girls had to admit that Xianxia's understanding of martial arts was much stronger than theirs, and they could guess that it was because Xianxia had trained in many powerful martial arts. Do you have the confidence to beat that guy? Su Meiyao asked. Of course I'll go. Xianxia laughed as he walked out of the cave and headed towards the Fragrance City's plaza. On the way, Xianxia was suddenly stopped by two people. One of them was Hua Qiuxia, the head of the South Fragrance 100 Flowers Hall, and the other was an old man. Xianxia, are you going to compete with the Sacred Dan Realm disciple in pill refining? Hua Qiuxia asked coldly, making him want to give her a slap. Xianxia was not surprised at all that the Godchild's claws had appeared. He felt that it would be strange if they did not come to find him. Of course, this is my problem. What does it have to do with you? Xianxia coldly snorted. Hua Qiuxia hated Xianxia a lot, perhaps it was due to jealousy, but of course it was also because of the way Xianxia treated her during the martial arts competition last time that made her brooding over this. There is something that you must do, that was handed down to you by the devil-subduing college. Hua Qiuxia's expression became even colder. What if I don't? Xianxia's voice had also become ice-cold. If it wasn't for the fact that Hua Qiuxia had a nirvana stage beside him, he definitely wouldn't waste his breath on her. Hua Qiuxia did not directly answer him and continued. When you compete with that person in refining pills, you must intentionally lose to him and gain his good impression. After that, you must hand over the Hell Ganoderma in your hands to him and tell him that there is someone in devil-subduing college who wants to see him. Xianxia laughed. Don't you guys think that's absurd? Let me tell you this, I must beat him and even make him lose very badly, and make me lose to him intentionally, and even give him the precious Hell Ganoderma. This is simply wishful thinking. You guys think that I will be like you guys. Obediently become someone else's dog slave and listen to everyone else. Hearing Xianxia's words, the elder and Hua Qiuxia were furious. Just as they were about to attack Xianxia, the elder's throat was suddenly pressed down by a sharp white jade spear. A thin sword also appeared on Hua Qiuxia's throat. When Hua Xiangyue and Lu Menger appeared at the same time, Hua Qiuxia was so shocked that her face immediately turned white, and her forehead was covered in perspiration. She had long heard that Xianxia had obtained the protection of the two strongest girls in the Chun martial continent. Humph, you actually dared to lay your hands on my first honorary alchemist in my Dan Fragrance Pure Lands territory. You are tired of living, aren't you? Hua Xiangyue said coldly. Her voice revealed a sense of majesty. The peaceful days were completely different from the flirtatious beauties. What do you guys want? If you dare to attack us, Devil-Subduing College will not let you go. He himself was someone who had experienced the seventh tribulation of Nirvana stage, but after sensing Hua Xiangyue and her aura, he could not help but break out in cold sweat, feeling that he was no match for these two women. Elder Yun Yen, arrest them and imprison them in the death cell. As Hua Xiangyue's voice fell, a tall and sturdy old man suddenly appeared behind him, followed by a few other elders and old women. All of them had powerful qi. They were all at the top of the Dan Fragrance Pure Land, although they could not concoct pills, but they could rely on Hua Xiangyue's pills, as they were powerful and loyal to the Dan Fragrance Pure Land. Xianxiang was Hua Xiangyue's master. Of course, Hua Xiangyue had to ensure Xianxiang's safety in the Fragrance City. He had to send experts to follow him at all times, and this time she was going to watch Xianxiang concoct pills with the man from the Sacred Dan Realm, so she followed behind Xianxiang. She did not expect to see the people from the Devil-Subduing College making their move against Xianxiang. These guys are way too daring. Hua Xiangyue coldly snorted. Xianxiang smiled at them and continued walking towards the plaza. Fan Yakin had been waiting here for a long time. Seeing Xianxiang coming with such confidence on his face, he laughed and said, I thought you wouldn't dare to come. What are you saying? Although I am not able to concoct any high-level pills yet, I am very confident in my alchemy skills. I don't know how I should compare them. Xianxiang asked. I have been here in the mortal Wu realm for a period of time. I have asked around about you. People like you are truly rare. I know that you must understand foreseeing alchemy, and during the competition you will be able to display your full strength. This is also equivalent to challenging your limits. Fan Yakin laughed. Xianxiang also agreed with Fan Yakin's words. When he first used the foreseeing alchemy because it was extremely urgent, he succeeded on his first try, but because it was not a competition in the future, he would fail many times when using the foreseeing alchemy. In order to increase the pressure, I think it's best if we bet something. Fan Yakin's eyes flashed and said, "If I win, what about you give me your pill refining furnace?" Xianxia was shocked. He never thought that this Fan Yakin would actually know what kind of trash his pill concocting furnace was. He frowned, thought for a moment, and then used his divine sense to send a sound transmission to Fan Yakin. "If I defeat you, bring me to Sacred Dan Realm. No problem, as long as we can compete in pill refining under a fair competition, as long as we can win, we are qualified to enter the Sacred Dan Realm. Otherwise, no matter how strong he is, whether he is a divine son or an immortal, he would dream of entering the Sacred Dan Realm." Fan Yakin also responded back with his consciousness. He obviously knew that entering the Sacred Dan Realm was every alchemist's dream. Xianxia did not expect Fan Yakin to agree so straightforwardly, causing him to be excited, but he had to win against Fan Yakin. Hearing Fan Yakin mention the Godchild, Xianxia knew that the mysterious Godchild in Devil-Subduing College had come to find Fan Yakin. However, Fan Yakin did not buy it. "As long as you hold the stone in your hand and speak the truth, the stone will not light up. If you lie, it will shine with a red light, and this is a treasure of our Sacred Dan Realm. Then you and I will respectively hold the stone and prove that we did not refine any of those pills." Fan Yakin held a transparent stone in his hand and said, "I have never refined a heaven-profound yellow pellet before." Fan Yakin smiled slightly. "This means that I am lying. Actually, I know how to refine the heaven-origin yellow pellet." Xianxia's heart skipped a beat, and the spectators around the plaza all started to exclaim in surprise, because the sky-origin profound yellow pellet was a middle-grade ground level. It was a very useful pellet. This Fan Yakin looked so young, but he actually knew how to refine mid-grade ground-level pills. Don't overestimate me, I was only able to refine it by chance. Other than that one time, I tried a few more times, but to no avail." The stone in his hand did not light up a red light, proving that he was not lying. Fan Yakin threw the stone towards Xianxia and said, "Try it." Xianxia took the stone and said, "I don't know how to refine Chunyuan Gold Dan." Red light flashed from the stone, indicating that he was lying. Xianxia laughed. "Right now, I am only at the middle profound level. I want to challenge high profound level pills." Fan Yakin did not laugh at Xianxia, but nodded and said, "Being able to reach such a level at your age is considered a rare genius within the Sacred Dan Realm. If you want to refine a high-grade profound level pellet, I have medicinal ingredients for you to practice with." Xianxia now had a whole new level of respect for Fan Yakin. Before, his impression of Fan Yakin was still very bad, but now, looking at how Fan Yakin spoke, he was not that kind of arrogant person. Because it was Xianxia's pill refining competition, those who stayed in Fragrance City more or less knew about the pill matters, and at this point they had already attracted a lot of people to watch. It depends on who can concoct the pills. I feel that the difficulty of the pills that we are concocting now is similar to the ones we have never concocted before, so we will have to compete in rounds after rounds of competition. Every round, we will try to concoct the pills we have never concocted, and if anyone is unable to do so, we will lose." Fan Yakin laughed. "What kind of pill do you plan to refine first? I can provide you with the ingredients." Xianxia's eyebrows twitched. Starting from the rules of the competition, the requirements for foreseeing alchemies were extremely high. If not, once an error was made, it would mean his loss. Once he lost, he would have to pay a heavy price. "I'll use my own ingredients." Xianxia shook his head and rejected it. He had the most understanding towards his own medicinal ingredients, and when using the foreseeing alchemy, having an understanding towards the medicinal ingredients was also a huge benefit. "Oh, are you worried that I don't have one? I have quite a few ingredients for a high-grade, profound level pill." Hearing Fan Yakin's words, Xianxia knew that the resources of the Sacred Dan Realm's medicinal herbs were abundant. If it was in a place like Mortal Wu Realm, other than a place like Yanjing which had a long history, it would be very difficult for one to grasp a large amount of resources of rare medicinal herbs. "What I want to refine is the profound Yang Fire Dan, you have it." Xianxia smiled and asked, Fan Yakin shook his head. I don't. This kind of high-grade profound level pill is rather difficult. I would like to see it. With that, he took out another 2 seemingly inferior pill furnaces. In order to be fair, we all use the same pill furnace. Furthermore, during the forging process, as long as we don't succeed in forging the pills, we will lose. Xianxia took the furnace and looked at it, then frowned. This furnace was indeed very low quality. It was the kind that was easily exposed. To use it to refine a middle-grade profound level pill, and to even challenge it for the first time would be even more difficult. Fan Yakin took the stone and said, I want to refine the face-preserving pill. I have never refined such a pill. The truth stone did not emit the red light, proving that Fan Yakin was speaking the truth. Now it was Xianxia's turn. When some people who knew about the face-preserving pill heard these words, they all exclaimed in admiration. They knew that this pill was what many women needed the most, especially those who were growing old. Xianxia gripped the stone tightly. I have never refined a profound young fire dan before. The stone did not light up, and Xianxia returned it back to Fan Yakin. The profound young fire dan was a high-grade profound level pill, which was a completely foreign domain to Xianxia, and the face-preserving pill Fan Yakin wanted to refine was also a mid-grade ground level. The two had chosen to refine pills that had never been refined before. That rock is really good stuff. If I had one, I would definitely let this little scoundrel hold it all day to talk to me. Hua Xiangyue laughed. Lu Menger was not as relaxed as she was at the moment. She was extremely worried for Xianxia. If this round cannot be decided, then it will be the end of the round. If the two of them have equal control over the foreseeing alchemy, then it would be a competition of endurance. Hua Xiangyue said, You don't have to worry about him. His grasp of the foreseeing alchemy is very strong. His progress is very fast. I think he is also using this competition to improve himself. He is very confident in himself. If Xianxia lost, he would have to give the pill furnace to Fan Yakin. This loss was very big, because Xianxia knew very well how precious the Yanlong furnace was. Xianxia and Fan Yakin seriously processed the medicinal herbs. If we fail in refining pills in the same round, then it doesn't count. We can start over from a new beginning. Fan Yakin said. Xianxia nodded. Right now, the 9-yang fire fruit and fire soul grass in his hands were especially dazzling, especially to those who were cultivating in flames. These 2 spirit medicines were like treasures, and even if he ate them all, they would be of great help to those who cultivate in flames. As for the medicinal ingredients that Fan Yakin was currently processing, they were not very eye-catching. Even though Xianxia did not look at them, he knew what kind of medicinal ingredients they were because he himself had them. Fan Yakin was also attracted by the medicinal ingredients in Xianxia's hands. He had seen the profound young fire dan before, but he had never seen any medicinal ingredients before. The alchemist was always filled with curiosity towards things that he did not know about, and it was just that he was a little doubtful that Xianxia was not attracted by the face-preserving pill in his hands. For a person from the mortal Wu realm to possess such precious medicinal ingredients, it was indeed a shocking matter. If Fan Yakin knew that Xianxia had grasped some heaven-level medicinal ingredients, he would definitely be even more shocked, because there were very few in the east and west of the sacred Dan realm. The reason why medicinal plants were so precious was because they were rare. The reason for why medicinal plants were so rare was because medicinal plants took a long time to mature. Some would take tens of thousands of years to mature. This pill furnace is so damn rotten. I'm really worried it will explode. Xianxia carefully placed the medicinal ingredients into the pill furnace. He was extremely nervous right now. He did not want to lose the precious pill furnace. The profound young fire dan's main ingredient was of the fire attribute. Its resistance to fire was extremely strong, and it would occasionally swallow flames to nourish itself. If the fire force was too weak, it would take on the appearance of a medicine herb. If it was too strong, it would be easy to destroy the energy inside the medicine. For this Xianxia had to be very precise. Therefore, he had to unleash the foreseeing alchemy to its limit, and precisely to what degree of flames he needed to refine it to be suitable. I have to save one up. I don't think he will be able to sustain this pill furnace for long. It isn't something he can use to forge pills. Frowned and stealthily released his power. The magic method furnace was formed and wrapped around the low-quality pill furnace. Xianxia was also prepared to transfer the fire and herbs in the furnace into the magic method furnace the moment he made a mistake. Fan Yakin was also secretly nervous now. He was refining a middle-grade ground-level pill, and the requirements for the fire was much higher than what Xianxia would need. He had also realized that the pill furnace's endurance was very low. This kind of pill furnace was something he had casually bought on the streets. He had overestimated these inferior pill furnaces. In the middle of the plaza, everyone was far away from Xianxia and Fan Yakin, because they could see that the originally gray pill furnace was now slowly turning red, and the oppressive heat was seeping out from the surface of the low-quality pill furnace. Looking as though it was going to explode at any moment, it was extremely scary. Both of them have extremely strong control over the foreseeing alchemy, and they were actually able to hold on with this kind of trash pill furnace for more than an hour. Hua Xiangyue stood on top of the tower, staring at the two pill furnaces, her beautiful eyes flickering. Xianxia secretly cursed Fan Yakin in his heart. He was actually so stingy when choosing a pill furnace to make such a trash. Forget about refining the profound level pills, even the spiritual level pills were extremely difficult to refine. However, Fan Yakin himself wanted to refine a middle-grade ground-level pill, so when Xianxia unintentionally looked at Fan Yakin's expression, he saw that Fan Yakin was the same as him, cursing this kind of trash pill furnace. Because of the furnace, the two of them progressed very slowly burning the stubborn ingredients inside. If they increased the intensity of the fire, the fragile pill furnace would immediately melt if it was unable to withstand the heat, which would also mean failure. What made Fan Yakin feel at ease was that he believed that Xianxia would definitely fail because of the pill furnace as well. At that time, there would only be two results, one of them being a failure and the other one being a failure. At this time, Xianxia's pill furnace had already started shaking, and was shaking at an extremely great distance, causing the spectators in the surroundings to discuss in panic. They were worried that a large ball of flames would suddenly burst out, because the fire chi released by Xianxia's pill furnace was extremely oppressive, bringing with it a strong and overbearing aura. It exploded out wave after wave, sweeping across the entire plaza. Just the aura alone was enough to make the furnace feel strong. If this kind of flame appeared, even if it came in contact with one, it would not be good. Now, everyone admired Xianxia greatly because under the condition of using this kind of flame, he could prevent the pill refining furnace from being melted. On the other hand, the aura of fire that Fan Yakin was releasing was extremely gentle. It did not make people feel uncomfortable at all. However, the danger that Fan Yakin was facing right now was the same as Xianxia. At this time, both of them were using up all their mental energy, using foreseeing alchemy at the same time while paying attention to the pill refining furnace, which allowed them to reach a level beyond their limits. Right now, they only had one thought in their minds, which was to successfully refine the pill while preserving the furnace. This was also due to him being under a lot of pressure. Now that he knew that refining pills was the same as training in the martial arts, he had to compete with others in order to improve at a superb speed and be able to display his superior talent in times of distress. 2 hours had passed. The pill furnace that people thought was about to explode had been persisted until now. However, it was becoming more and more red. It was like a piece of red-hot iron that was emitting a gorgeous red light. Xianxia and Fan Yakin never thought that they would be able to last until now. Although they thought that they would die soon, they, who did not want to lose, played every aspect to their limits and endured it bit by bit. Although Xianxia's furnace was shaking all the time, it was indeed Xianxia's intention. He did this so that the furnace would be able to release a certain amount of heat and not fuse with the furnace, causing it to tremble. It was because he had problems with the furnace during the process of refining that the furnace had become unstable, and there were signs of it exploding. "That guy is about to die," Su Meiyao said. She was anxious too. She wanted Xianxia to win in one round, especially when this round would be disadvantageous to both sides. If both of them did not succeed in this round, then Fan Yakin would definitely be more careful when the next round begins. At that time, it would be even more difficult to win. Suddenly, a loud explosion followed by a burning chi wave struck over. Xianxia was shocked. He anxiously used his power to form a protective shield, protecting himself and the pill refining furnace. It was caused by Fan Yakin's explosion. In that moment, Fan Yakin's furnace turned to dust, and the smoke disappeared. At the same time, Fan Yakin was sitting on the ground with his legs crossed, his face pale white, his entire body covered in perspiration. He was slightly gasping for breath, his face filled with disbelief. He had actually failed. The plaza was already in an uproar as sounds of discussion and sighs exploded out. Especially those alchemists. They couldn't help but feel pity as they saw the medicinal ingredients for the face-preserving pill disappearing just like that. Although Xianxia's furnace was shaking non-stop, it was much more stable than Fan Yakin's. The quality of the medicinal ingredients inside were not as tyrannical as Fan Yakin's, but the situation was still not good. Fan Yakin quickly recovered from his failure. He knew that his current state of mind was extremely important. He had to maintain his confidence and prepare for the next round. He believed that Xianxia would not succeed. He could see that Xianxia's furnace was on the verge of destruction. If he was careless for even a moment, it would explode like what he did just now. Although expecting others to blow up was a weakling's mentality, Fan Yakin saw that the longer Xianxia stayed, the more he hoped for. Otherwise, he would fail. He was also a very proud person in his bones. It was a little hard for him to accept this kind of failure. He believed that the reason why he did not display his pill refining skills was all because of the restrictions of the pill refining furnace. But just like him, Xianxia was also restricted by the furnace. If Xianxia succeeded, it could also be said that Xianxia was stronger than him. Xianxia was already sweating like rain. This was not because he was being heated up by the pill refining furnace, but was due to him getting too nervous due to a tense mental state. He had already burnt half of the medicinal ingredients, and a portion of the medicinal powder and medicine aura were wreaking havoc on the top of the furnace. It was extremely tyrannical, causing him to feel that it was getting more and more troublesome. Now, Xianxia's pupils contracted suddenly. The pill furnace suddenly turned into ashes. At the same time, a red light flashed and floated in the sky like a blazing sun. In that instant, Xianxia had successfully transferred everything inside the low-grade pill furnace to the magic method furnace. Although this transparent pill furnace could not be seen, it was still comparable to those inferior pill furnaces. At this moment, everyone could see the medicinal ingredients in the middle layer being burned by the flames, releasing waves of dazzling red clouds, and the energy that was like a red cloud flowing water, gushing towards the top layer like a mist. The process of the medicinal ingredients turning into medicine aura and powder was extremely clear, and many people who had never seen this scene before could not help but be dumbstruck. Fan Yakin, who was the closest to Xianxia, was tongue-tied as he stared dumbfoundedly at the beautiful red light that had erupted in front of him. He could only see this inside the furnace, but the scene inside was completely different from what he saw with his own eyes. Not to mention him, even many of the old alchemists were stunned by this scene. Fan Yakin never thought that Xianxia would actually use such a skill. Of course, he knew that Xianxia could refine pills without relying on the pill furnace, but he never expected that when the original pill furnace broke down, Xianxia would transfer everything inside to the pill furnace that he could not see. Seeing Xianxia's existence, Fan Yakin felt the urge to take him as his master. Although it was daytime, the red light emitted by the magic method furnace was still extremely dazzling. The red light emitted by the magic method furnace enveloped a large area, and it was obvious how strong the energy contained within was when the spirit medicine was being burned. This kid is always full of different kinds of people. Xianxia chuckled, laughing extremely happily. Yes. Lu Menger smiled sweetly and nodded. She was very proud of her little man's beautiful performance. Although the pill refining furnace was destroyed, everything was still there. Therefore, Xianxia's batch of pills was not finished. This was not considered a violation of the rules. However, this did not mean that Xianxia could succeed. Fan Yakin still had a lot of hope, but he suddenly realized that placing the chance of winning at the hands of others was just a way to lower his own level. He could not help but sigh in his heart. Fan Yakin, who was born in the Sacred Dan realm at his age, had never heard of this kind of consummate skill, nor had he seen it before. Now that he was able to see it with his own eyes, it could be considered an eye-opener to him. One must know that the Sacred Dan realm he was in was the place where pills originated from. As a result, most alchemists who came out of it did not think that there was any kind of alchemist that could defeat them in any other world. But Fan Yakan found that Xianxia was using a profound technique to display the beautiful process of refining pills, and he would succeed very soon. The current Xianxia was much more relaxed, but he could not relax because the profound Yang Fire Dan he refined was not yet complete and there were still many complicated processes. If he relaxed even a little, his efforts would be wasted. As his strength increased, his mana and spirit became stronger and stronger. Now, he could easily control the magic method furnace, unlike in the past, where he would need to split up a lot of focus to control the magic method furnace. He could now focus more on refining pills. The consumption and effects of releasing the magic method furnace would be negligible. Using magic method furnace to refine pills had one benefit, and that was stability. This was because the entire pill furnace was condensed with Fa. The process was very long, because the 9 yang blazing fruit and the fire soulgrass contained a large amount of energy, requiring a large amount of time to be burned, in order to make the medicine aura inside even more powerful. The reason why spirit medicines had to be burned with special and powerful flames was that under the burning of these flames, they could produce changes and their medicinal strength would become even better. It was the same as tempering one's body with thousands of times. Everyone held their breaths as they watched the changes in the magic method furnace, especially the alchemist. Unknowingly, it was already night. The light from the pill furnace dyed the night red and covered the entire field. Looking down from above, it was as if a giant ruby was emitting a beautiful red glow, causing people to feel intoxicated. Had only just finished incinerating all of the medicinal ingredients. The medicine aura and the medicinal powder had started to enter a state of fusion, with all different medicine aura fusing all different medicinal powders, and finally fusing the two ingredients once more. Reaching this stage, the pressure on Xianxia lessened a lot. This was because he had the help of magic power. Using magic power to suppress the medicine aura and medicinal powder seemed very easy, and would not make any mistakes, but it was only in normal situations. If he met with any special medicine aura or medicinal powder, he would have to be cautious. Very quickly, the time to condense the pill was approaching, and everyone could see a ball of qi at the top of the pill furnace, spinning very quickly. It was the state of the medicine aura and the medicinal powder intertwined together. If he continued condensing it, it would condense into a pill. At this stage, he would have to decide on how to condense the majority of the pellets. According to Xianxia's understanding, under normal circumstances, Profound Yang Fire Dan would usually condense 3 pellets, but now Xianxia felt that he could split them into 5. He felt that the Profound Yang Fire Dan's ability to refine 4 of them was already its limit, not to mention the fact that Xianxia had refined them under such circumstances. If it wasn't for the Truth Stone, Fan Yakan would have thought that he had refined this Profound Yang Fire Dan before. Even Master only has a limit of 4 pills. He can actually refine 5 pills. Looks like I must take him to Sacred Dan Realm and let him compete against those geniuses in Sacred Dan Realm. Maybe he will be able to sweep across the entire Sacred Dan Realm. Fan Yakan knew that since Xianxia could cultivate it to this stage, it could be considered a success. Even if he lost, he could only agree to Xianxia's request. As Xianxia's 5 balls of carefully compressed air, the eye-piercing red light also slowly faded. The 5 pills that were formed looked like carefully polished rubies, and flickered with red moisture, appearing extremely beautiful. I've lost. Fan Yakan let out a long sigh. He knew that Xianxia's talent in alchemy was much higher than his. The quality is good, and it can even produce 5 pills. This evil master of mine is truly amazing. Xianxia licked her lips and laughed. Little Demoness, although you made an appointment with him in master-servant contract, you know that he would never treat you as a servant. Lu Menger scoffed. Of course, but no matter what, I am still his maid. In the future, I might be the only maid by his side, but as a wife, maybe there will be many of them. Hee. Xianxia laughed tenderly. It's also possible that there will be quite a few younger sisters or older sisters. Lu Menger snorted as she clenched her teeth and rolled her eyes at Xianxia. Fan Yakan walked in front of Xianxia, picked up the Profound Yang Fire Dan and looked, sighing. Seems like you are the one who is qualified to own that pill-concocting furnace. I believe you are not one to fail your appointment. Xianxia smiled faintly and swallowed a Chunyuan gold Dan, recovering the consumed innate qi in his body. Fan Yakan looked around, And suddenly, an old man appeared behind him. When the old man looked at Xianxia, his eyes were filled with respect. It was a sign of respect towards the alchemist, and not everyone in the Sacred Dan realm was an alchemist, but that was a world ruled by the alchemist, where many of the powerful people relied on the alchemist to raise their strength, so they were extremely respectful to the alchemist. "Come with me, it's not convenient to talk here," Fan Yakin said softly as he flew up into the air and out of the plaza. Chun Xiang and the old man followed closely behind. "Damn it! Someone is following us. Do you have a safe place to stay?" Fan Yakin asked. "Why didn't you say so earlier?" "Of course I have one." Chun Xiang laughed. The Dan Fragrance Pure Land was the safest place. It was a profound realm and there was only one entrance.